All right, now joining me from Germany is Daniel Béland, director of the McGill Institute for the Study of Canada, as we continue to watch the live shot of Mark Carney voting in Ottawa. Hey, Daniel, thanks so much for joining us. Election day is here. The race is looking close. How do you see it playing out, particularly between the top two contenders throughout? We've seen this, the Liberals and the Conservatives. Talk about the paths to victory here.
Well, I think that right now the Liberals are the favorites, and it's really a dramatic reversal. If we remember when Justin Trudeau announced his resignation on January 6th, the Conservatives were way ahead in the polls, but now the Liberals typically are ahead in the polls and in terms of seat projections. But of course, the Conservatives still have a shot, perhaps at a minority government if they get enough seats. So it's important for people to vote. It's clear that this was a campaign under the shadow of Donald Trump, in a way, Canada-US relations, the trade war, all the discussion about the 51st state, but also important debates about our economy, the cost of living crisis, especially the housing crisis. And so a lot of issues debated over a very short period of time. This was a short campaign. And I don't think it has moved the needle that much. I think that the polls really shifted dramatically earlier this year, before the beginning of the campaign, but it's been relatively stable since the campaign started. And so it's important for people to vote today if they have not voted yet.
Once again, to bring our viewers into this conversation, we're speaking to Daniel Béland, director of the McGill Institute for the Study of Canada, as we're watching a live shot of Mark Carney cast his ballot in the Ottawa area, the last of the federal party leaders to cast his ballot. You brought up Donald Trump in this election, really a wild card throughout all of this, and once again, he's commented on this election on social media just yesterday. What kind of impact do you think this might have in the final hours as Canadians, if they haven't made up their minds, are making up their minds and actually casting their ballots?
Well, first of all, it's not acceptable what Donald Trump is doing, frankly, saying these things about Canada. And it's good that party leaders and other politicians and ordinary people in Canada are pushing back against this. I think that this might actually stimulate people to vote and to participate even more. And I think in terms of early voters, we saw that there is already a high level of participation, and this might stimulate more people to go out and vote, perhaps to send a message to Donald Trump. So among other things.
Yeah, so as our viewers hopefully keep it here on CTV to watch all the election coverage throughout the night, give them any specific riding that you might be watching for, any regions that you're particularly watching for in terms of a potential change or a hold for certain parties. What might stand out as election night progresses?
Well, you know, there in each region of the country, you have ridings that are especially interesting. I would say, for example, since I'm based in Montreal, so in Quebec, I would say, although I'm not here right now, I'm not in Quebec right now, I would say Trois-Rivières in Quebec, so which is located between Montreal and Quebec City. That's a very interesting riding because last time in 2021, we had a three-way race with a very, the Bloc won, but by a very small margin. The Conservatives were second, really close behind, and the Liberals were very close behind the Conservatives. And so this is the kind of riding, when you saw a really tight race last time around, these are the ridings we should look at in terms of potential shift. Here in that case, the Bloc could lose that seat to the Conservatives or to the Liberals, or they could hold to it. So I think this is the kind of seat that we should look at later today, this evening, and overnight.
Yeah, as you mentioned specifically yourself, from someone who hails from Montreal, overall, if you can kind of forecast the fortunes of the Bloc Québécois playing out through this election night.
You know, it's been difficult for the Bloc. They have played defense, really. When the major issue is protecting, our economy, trade issues, standing up to American president, some of the issues that the Bloc are traditionally focusing on are not as central during this campaign. And I think the Bloc has really struggled, and now they are struggled during this campaign. And I think they are trying to keep as many seats as possible. But some of their seats, I think, are really vulnerable. And conservatives and especially liberals could benefit from that later tonight.
All right, always fascinating to watch as it plays out. Daniel Béland, director of the McGill Institute for the Study of Canada, joining us from Germany this afternoon. Thanks so much for making the time. Appreciate it.
You're most welcome. Take care.
You as well.